No, I didn't get much help doing it, being honest.
So maybe you should have.
It's maybe a bit too complex, I'd say.
It's not the complexity of the CV that would concern me, Will. It's the content of the CV.
Okay, yeah.
It's probably one of the poorest CVs I've seen land on my desk in a while, to be honest with you. What are your other weaknesses then?
Personally, I've always had a weakness for maybe being too much of a perfectionist. You know, I have a certain
Clearly
standard.
not a perfectionist, Will.
On the CV, yeah.
Clearly not.
Yeah, well, that's the point I'm going to have to take, definitely. But I mean, in terms of my work ethics, I'm very, you know, give 110%, and I do expect that from my team around me as well. And that's one weakness that I have. I expect the same level of work ethics.
Paint the picture for me. You're going in, you're starting a new job. What are you going to do?
Yeah, well, you obviously have to get everybody together and tell them exactly where your background is, what you're about, what you're going to bring to the tables, and represent and Bill. I'll be able to get that to come across in my speech to all his employees.
So you'd gather them and make a speech to them all?
If that's what he wants me to do, yes, I'll do that.
No, I'm just curious as to what you would do, because different people will do different things. Do you think you deserve it?
I do think I deserve it. You know, I look at Bill, you know, and I see what he's achieved. It's about being a warrior. It's about winning and being the best, and that's why Bill's the way he is, because he loves winning. He wants to be number one.
What do you hope the job is?
I'd love if Bill said to you, "I want you to come in and turn this upside down," or "I want you to..."
Turn what upside down?
His business.
The whole thing?
If he actually said to me, "I want you to go in and I want you to just turn this on its head and look what can make us money."
Okay, you're a man of buzzwords, I think. Just looking at your
I would think Bill is as well.
Form here. Well, we're talking about you here.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay,
yeah.
so if we can focus on you, that would be very helpful.
No worries.
So you'd be devastated if you're fired tomorrow?
Devastated, yeah.
That's it, and
Listen,
best of luck.
Thanks very much, it was an absolute pleasure.
Will.
Take care of yourself.
You too.
All the best, have a good day.
This may not be too long, because there's just one or two issues around your candidacy. A person who would get through to the final and might win this gets a very high-profile, well-paid position. And your employers would need to know anything or everything that might be in one's past. You were modelling.
I was, yeah.
Could you categorically say that there would be no photographs that could put you or your employers in an embarrassing situation?
Yes, 100%.
Tell me why you're 100% confident of that.
Well, because I've never done anything dodgy in modelling.
All right, when were you dancing?
Oh, when I was about 17.
All right. I just want to give you an opportunity to clarify it.
There's nothing that I'm aware of that would ever embarrass myself or anybody else with regards to modelling or dancing or anything like that. There's not. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I was a dancer, I was a model. I've never done anything that would embarrass anybody.
Dancing where?
In nightclubs.
What type of dancing was this?
To club music, to like house music. You'd be wearing hot pants and a bra top and a pair of fluffy boots. But it's not pole dancing or lap dancing or anything like that, but it's sexy dancing.
So this club dancing?
Yeah, sorry.
Don't be saying, we need an assurance.
No, I understand. I'm just a bit shocked.
Yeah, well, this is very important. We're just looking at the media implications of this if you were to get to a final or get the job. So I have to ask you a few direct questions. Is there anything that you need to clarify?
I'm trying to think of anything now that could have even been implied that way. Yes, actually, when I was... Now, this would have been when I was maybe 17 or 18. I was entered into a competition to be a presenter on TV for Playboy.
Just explain that to us. You auditioned.
No,
this is a competition you entered.
Yeah, no, I actually wasn't even like that. I was working in a club and they had a competition on for a presenter of Playboy. Didn't think twice about it. Did it, won, surprisingly, got through to the next round. I did that. I can't even remember what happened because I just never went back to it. So that was it, really. But
if it's for Playboy, or even a competition to do with Playboy, it does change the situation slightly, and we're using this opportunity to clarify it.
Okay, well then that can be the only thing I can really think of.
All right, and you're just stating that in case there might be some photographs from that time hanging around. They're innocent enough. It was just something you did for a bit of cash at the time, and you feel it would be grossly unfair if that was held against you in this competition.
I'd really feel that was unfair if it was held against me. The reason I've been trying hard in business is to not do things like that.
Is there anything else you want to bring to our attention that you feel is very important for somebody like me who's got to make a recommendation to Bill?
I think it's very important that Bill knows if I'm the right person for him, then hopefully that's all he'll need to know. I hope the whole dancing thing is never an issue. But other than that, I just now hope I've done enough.
Michelle, thank you very much.
Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Cheers.
How'd you get on?
I'll talk to you about it later.
Oh.
See, Raina? Times that by 10. So.
Was it true?
Yeah. You will not believe it. And he was a gentleman, but I won't be getting the job. I have absolutely no control over what the 4 people that interviewed me say about me. I'm looking forward to it, and of course I'm nervous. Like, I want the job so badly, like, I can taste it. Like,
I think the reason why I got upset is because I spoke about my army experience. I haven't spoken about it to anybody. Nobody knows.
If Bill was ranking these last 4, I think he'd see me in the top 2. I deserve to be here, but you know, it's not over. There's still an awful lot to go as well.
I was in a job interview yesterday, and Gavin, I don't know what he wanted from me, but I was myself, and if he thinks I was being guarded or being too safe, I was being myself. Like, what more can I do than come in here and be myself?
Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon,
Bill.
You know, I get the feeling, just looking at you, that your expertise has come to the front today. It's shining from you. And maybe Mairead would kick us off and we'll talk about Will.
He was one-dimensional, didn't have very strong communication skills. He couldn't really enunciate what he was trying to say. He wanted to answer every single question with, well, Bill does this and Bill does that. And on more than one occasion, I had to say to him, this is not about Bill, this is about you, and answer the question in your own words, which he didn't do very well, I have to say. His CV was atrocious. It was in different fonts, there were spelling errors in it, it didn't flow well at all, just was a shambles.
He overestimates himself and his abilities. The distance he has to go, I still don't think he realises it. He has that, as you say, the charm nearly is, he's like your little brother. You know, he looks so good and he's so warm, but I think in a year's time, in 2 years' time, if Will takes on board what he's learnt during this process and goes and addresses those weaknesses, I think he certainly will be worth looking at.
I don't agree. I don't think he's going to get there. I know this is a matter of opinion. You're thinking he's not there now. I don't think he's going to get there, and that's being blunt. I think there are skills for the man, but I don't think he can get that far. He simply, I saw a really nice, loyal, hard-working, genuine young man who was likeable, but I didn't see a star.
I think he's a hard-working guy. Will has this ability to be able to get people to do things for him. You know, I think he's smart in that sense. His communication skills let him down a little bit, and that would be my concern around Will.
But in the right hands, in the future,
I was going to say,
he will grow.
I think he has the ability in him, but I believe that you could actually take him, if someone had the time, to put into him and make him into something special, because he has got special qualities.
But it would take time.
It will take time. Michelle? Sheena?
She certainly is a salesperson. She has the sales experience. She has the proven record. I think there's a piece of Michelle Massey that, you know, you leave home when you're 15. Maybe she needs to stop running. Maybe she needs to stand still, you know, and stop trying so hard. Just be yourself.
I like Michelle. I thought she... I'll come to the rest of it in a moment. I think she is somebody who's fought and been very brave, and I respect that. My worry was she's come very far, and I'm concerned that she's at that point where she's plateaued. She's worked, she's now changed jobs, I think, in January, and if she gets something new, she'll have some energy for it for another 6 months, maybe a year. But I think, come what may in the long run, I think the fire's burning out. She moved here with a fire, and I think it's beginning to dissipate.
I think she's actually more of a man's person than a woman's person. There was no warmth in her eyes. She didn't gel with me. She didn't try to gel with me. She answered my questions and she answered them succinctly, but there was no warmth there. There was no huge amount of empathy. I didn't bond with her.
Gavin, did you bond with Michelle?
I didn't bond with any of the candidates because, as you know, you give me the tough task of really grilling them. But what I felt I had to do for you was make sure there's nothing in that past. And, you know, she was very upfront and very, very honest and explained that around 1998 or 1999, working in a nightclub where she was a dancer, she had been asked to audition for Playboy TV. And that, I have to say, her honesty about that, I don't think there's any concern for any of us. For the role that you're talking about, she seemed to be confident, actually, I know I can do that for them. And that made her, in my eyes, somebody that needed to be strongly recommended.
I'll take all that on board. Some of it's very interesting. And then we have probably what I should call a special guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He is.
In Panos.
He is special.
Yeah. Panos is a lovely guy. You warm to him straight away. Then, of course, when I started to drill down a bit, I remember, of course, he doesn't like drilling because he had a trauma at some stage. There's always a trauma in Panos's past life about everything, isn't there? So when we did start to drill down, he kept debating, no, I can lead from the back. I'm not sure he could do that.
His CV was beautifully presented. His command of the written language was excellent, far better than some of his peers. And bearing in mind it's not his first language, I thought it was very impressive. There was a gap on his CV, which of course I'm going to explore. And it turned out he'd been in the military service for a year. And, you know, the fact of the matter was he was a sergeant. He led troops, 250 troops. To me, that was very powerful, very strong.
Leadership.
Excellent leadership skills. But he was saying about how he had to kind of get his head around the fact that he was a gay man in the army and the Greek army didn't welcome gay men, etc. So he was very, very emotional talking about that. Would his emotions get in the way of him making, I suppose, business decisions? And I think they would. I think he would be very, very emotional. I think he could be quite lazy as well. He doesn't strike me as a real grafter, a real hard worker.
There's no energy bursting out of him.
No, there really isn't.
I think it's all about Panos. I think I didn't even fully trust him. It says, describe something you would do if you knew you wouldn't get caught. He said he would stay in a 5-star boutique hotel in the Maldives for a month under someone else's credit card. I was trying to get him to understand that this wasn't a good ambition. He didn't even seem to see this, because I think, again, it's about Panos. He's not considering the consequences to the other people. He's considering his wants, his needs, and him being pampered, not about the fact that he's just used your credit card.
He was like a great book that turned into a terrible film. You know, you read the CV, it's good experience in an international company, but then you meet him and, wow. What about the tasks you field in? And he said, well, yeah, I can really explain that poor performance because on that particular day, I had a creak in my neck. And I just thought, do you know what? It's time to go home.
He's not a Spartan warrior.
A warrior with a creak in his neck.
He's a meek Greek.
OK. We come to the last, which is Niamh MacDonald, a 23-year-old.
23 going on...
Oh, so let's start with you, Mairead.
Yes, she's so mature, isn't she? 23, gosh. How can you flap this girl? She's unflappable. She's a team player, she's bright, she's articulate, she writes well, she's a good marketing head on her shoulders. She's ticking all the boxes, albeit she doesn't have years and years worth of experience. She really is so capable.
Yeah, Niamh. All of those things, strengths, industrious, hard worker, works very hard to impress. You know, I said to her, well, you've obviously really prepared for this interview because, you know what, Niamh, I feel like I'm listening to a script here. oh, I'd never plan for an interview. I just turn up for interviews because I'd never know what anyone was going to ask me. And I just thought, yeah, tell me another story, why don't you? Didn't like that at all. I don't think she's a relationship builder. She certainly didn't build a relationship with me. I think she's a passive aggressive. But it's passion. I don't see
That's
passion.
a word we use a lot around here.
I don't see a spark in her. I don't see a real person in her. I think she's changing like the suit, whoever. She'll be whatever somebody wants her to be.
It's interesting because I agree with all your comments, and yet I look at it completely the other way around, which is an interesting thing, because actually your comments are exactly what I think. Just the emphasis is different. See, I think her strengths incredibly outweigh her weaknesses. I think she's a real quality human being. She's been brought up very well.